You are a Locked On Braves postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, your team every day.
It was a tough night for the Braves in the Lone Star State as they come up on the wrong side of a 3-1 score in the middle contest of a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers. I'm Grant McAuley. Welcome once again to the Braves Postcast, part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Make sure you click the bell, get those notifications whenever we drop a new episode. As always, make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves as well. That's where you can get the feed for not only the postcast, as we do about after just about every Braves game, but also every episode that Jake Mastriani has coming for you all season long. You'll get both of those things just by subscribing to the Locked On Braves podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. With that said, not a lot of great stuff to get into for the Braves on this night. It was a fast game, a quick fate, if you will. So for those of you who weren't ready for a 3+ hour agonizing defeat, you didn't have to worry about that. But it really seemed like the Rangers, and particularly Dane Dunning, their starter, were in complete control throughout this game as he got locked in early, grabbed a lot of strikeouts. Then he just settled in to it felt like being one step ahead of the Braves offense on this night. Let's jump inside the line score, let you know exactly how the particulars of this game went, even if the particulars aren't a whole lot of fun. It was game number 22 for the Braves as they faced Texas in game 2 of this 3-game set. Atlanta drops to 10-12 on the season, a run on 3 hits, no errors, 3 men left on base for the Braves. For the Rangers, who are now 7-14, 3 runs on 4 hits. They made 1 error and left 3 men on as well. So not a lot of base runners for either side, and really early scoring in this game was what led to the eventual outcome. Dane Dunning, though, he was very sharp. He pitched into the 8th inning to pick up the win. He is now 1-1. Bryce Elder is 1-3 on the season after taking the loss in this one. And Joe Barlow, the closer for the Rangers, picked up his first save of the season. As I mentioned, a very quick game, 2 hours and 15 minutes, crowd of 36,097 were on hand to see it. And a lot of those fans were there to see the Texas product, the hometown kid, Bryce Elder, make a start in the Lone Star State. And, he didn't pitch altogether that poorly, but he did scuffle a little bit in this one. And I think it kind of boils down to continuing to refine his command and his approach and how he attacks hitters. Not as many walks in this one. There were a bunch in his last couple starts, and I'll get to that in a moment. But 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks in this, and 1 strikeout, 1 home run. That belonged to our old friend Corey Seager, who always seems to find a way to victimize the Braves for at least 1 home run in a game, and he's done it in each of the first 2 contests of this series. After no walks in his major league debut, Bryce Elder has now walked 14 batters in 13 1/3 innings over his past 3 starts. That's something I feel like is going to have to change because he's not an overpowering pitcher, but I do feel like he could attack and perhaps be a little bit more aggressive. And the more hitters he gets in front of, I do think he has the arsenal to be a crafty major league starter and to get hitters out. But it seems like it ends up working into full count, and he's just not quite able to put some of these guys away because big league hitters will wait you out if they feel like they can key in on something and they can kind of ignore everything else. And maybe that's a little bit of what's happening in some cases as well. So not an overpowering pitcher, but again, not really attacking the zone and giving his defense a chance to help out and make some plays behind him in this one. So Bryce Elder takes a loss, again, drops to 1-3 on the year. Spencer Strider, meanwhile, though, was the man who came on in relief after Elder. 3 2/3 innings for him. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts for Spencer Strider in this one. So for as bad as he looked in his last appearance a week ago, Spencer Strider couldn't have looked much better on this night and gives the Braves a lot to think about perhaps when this turn in rotation comes up again the next time through. So we'll see how that all plays out. But as for right now, it was Spencer Strider in relief, giving the Braves some innings that they desperately needed. Ronald Acuna Jr. was back in the lineup. He was a DH, but not much going on for him today, though he did have a check swing RBI single. It gave the Braves their only run of the game, and that came in the top of the 3rd inning against Dunning, which was one of the very few things that went wrong for him in this start as he handcuffed the Braves. 7 2/3 innings for Dunning, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. And a lot of those strikeouts came in the first couple of frames. It really set the tone for him in this game. Atlanta is now 1-11 when the opponent scores first this season, and 9-1 when scoring first. So as you know about good teams, typically they're in the lead quite a lot. They score first quite a lot. The Braves have shown that over the past 4 seasons, but this year. It has been kind of a role reversal for Atlanta, and those dramatic comebacks really have not been there for the Braves here in the early going. Braves have also lost 5 games to 3 clubs that are a combined 30 games under 500. That would be the Cincinnati Reds, the Washington Nationals, and the Texas Rangers now with their loss on Saturday night. So a tough one for the Braves. They've got at least one more to get to and a chance to win this series. No chance to get back to 500 over the weekend before they head to New York for the big showdown against the New York Mets. But there is a little bit left in Texas, some business to attend to, which we'll get covered in just a moment. This Mother's Day, I want to remind you to give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off a $500 purchase. This exclusive deal is only good through Mother's Day. You can use the code Locked On. That is the code Locked On. Every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece and go to BlueNile.com today. So as the Braves will search for a victory that will secure a series win for them in Sunday's finale, they will go to the minors, it would seem, because Brian Snitker did not name a starting pitcher for Sunday's game immediately after this one was over. There are some candidates, of course, down in Gwinnett. We'll see which way the Braves decide to go. You also have to track back and see who's pitched recently. But whoever it is, whether they're on the big league staff right now or whether they are going to be coming up from Gwinnett, it will be Taylor Hearn who will be on the mound for the Texas Rangers. He is 0-2, a 7.47 ERA for him on the year. Again, one of the reasons, or the reason why the Braves are having to announce a starter or will announce a starter at some point prior to Sunday's game is that Max Fried has been pushed back to pitch the opener of the Mets series. That's 4 games in 3 days up at Citi Field, so that's going to be a tough one. You want your best starters going if you have the opportunity to do so, and by pushing Fried back a day, they're able to get him going in that series, which, while it's not all the cards aren't on the table yet, everything's not coming down to this, it is that chance to make that first impression on the year. And for the Braves as the road team, you want to feel like you can at least go into that 4-game series and bring a couple of wins home to Atlanta. But the New York Mets have been very tough this year. They have been as good as advertised and as good as they spent all that money over the offseason to get as well. But that, of course, is around the corner, not on Sunday, but that will be happening on Monday, but part of this road trip. So the Braves very much want to grab a series win, if possible, behind whoever is tasked with starting for Atlanta on Sunday. And, of course, leaning, I would imagine, on the bullpen to cover whatever innings they need to. And the Braves offense will quite simply have to wake up again and play a little bit more like Game 1 than they did in Game 2. BetOnline.net is your number one source for betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and Major League Baseball action. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. BetOnline.net, where the game starts. So once again, Game 3 is in Texas at Globe Life Field. That'll be happening on Sunday afternoon. 2:35 Eastern Time is the first pitch, and it will be Taylor Hearn on the mound for the Texas Rangers, a pitcher to be determined for the Atlanta Braves, who are still looking for a series victory to start their road trip off on a good note before they head up to New York to face the Mets. That'll wrap things up, though, here for the Braves Postcast on a Saturday night. This is part of the all-new Locked On Sports Atlanta. Make sure you subscribe to the page on YouTube and to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcasts. As always, I'm Grant McAuley. I look forward to talking to you again soon as the Braves aim for a victory on Sunday and then get that big 4-game series started with the New York Mets on Monday. Once again, though, your final score in this one, it was the Rangers 3 and the Braves 1. Join us again on Monday for another edition of the Braves Postcast. So long, everyone.